Hello, everyone. My name is Tara, and welcome to Aligning to Love. In this channel, I aim to spread hope, joy, peace, and love to the world by sharing goodness and love within my life. In this video, I wanted to talk more about updates within my life and then on to signs from the universe, and specifically signs that our loved ones who have passed may be showing us. And so, the last month has been so hectic. And especially within the last 2 weeks, I felt like I have been just not able to catch my breath. And so, in the previous video, you may have heard or seen that I had been finishing up report cards and finalizing them and getting ready for parent conferences. And I always get nervous each year during parent conferences because I always think about what if I can't answer a question that they may have, or what if they are wondering about something that I may not feel as knowledgeable about that I feel like I should be. But every year I always feel so happy and so energized after parent conferences because I feel more connected to the family and the children. I get a better perspective of their whole life from their families when we get to catch up and talk about their child. And it's just really nice because both people and parties meet me as the teacher, but also the families as the parents and guardians. They get to hear how life for their child is at school, and I get to hear about the life at home, their extracurricular activities or just hobbies that they love doing that maybe they don't talk about at school. So I just feel like everyone gets a bigger sense of a whole picture when we have parent conferences. And it's just, I love it. And it's just so wonderful. And so that was really nice to be able to catch up and have time to meet with all the families. And it just really, I was feeling so elevated after they were completed. And so though that was one part of being so busy the last couple of weeks. And then unfortunately my daughter ended up getting sick, and she had had fevers all through that previous weekend, all the way into Monday and Tuesday. And so that was a very stressful part of the previous 2 weeks. And then on Wednesday, I was able to go to a conference with my kindergarten colleagues, and that was wonderful. In order to do that, I had to take extra time to do sub plans and make sure my students were going to be prepared for this substitute. And it's all worth it because having the time to get out of the classroom and be with my colleagues and gain knowledge and insight and tools and resources to implement when we go back to the classroom was wonderful. And our speakers were inspiring, and the people leading the workshops were very engaging, and it was fun. And time flies when you're having fun, and those workshops were 2 hours and some were more. And sometimes it just felt like they were 30 minutes and it just flew by. So I was really excited to bring the knowledge that I was learning and back into my classroom. And so that was really wonderful. And then Friday of the previous week, it was my student's birthday. And so her birthday was on Friday. My birthday was on this Saturday, this past Saturday. And so that was really special to be able to share a birthday bash with my students. Well, with my one student that we got to celebrate with the rest of the class. And one of my good colleagues and a really great friend, I didn't realize she had done it, but she had sent an email out to the rest of the school and said, "Hey, unfortunately, I'm not going to be in today, but I wanted to wish Tara," she used my teacher name though, "a happy birthday. And can we all spread some birthday cheer to her if you see her?" And I had not seen that email, and all day people kept coming up to me and wishing me happy birthday and giving me hugs and just making my day so special. And it was such a wonderful surprise because I hadn't told anyone it was my birthday, and I was thinking every time they were doing that, how do they know? Because it's not something that I had shared or talked about. And it's really funny because the fact that I'm even doing a YouTube channel is pretty hilarious because I'm not one to want to bring attention to myself. And so I was just really happy and I felt very loved because I was just surprised that everyone was saying that to me and showing me all this happiness and love and compassion when I had no clue how they knew. And so I was able to celebrate my birthday with my family this past weekend, which was really nice. I needed that downtime. I needed just the comfort of my family and going back to my childhood home. And the weather was awful. I was hoping that I'd get to see some friends from high school and middle school. And at this point, I don't feel like they're friends. I consider them family. And I was hoping I'd get to see them when I went back to my hometown, but because of the weather and it was icy and there was literally sheets of ice on my parents' cars, my car, and the driveway was super slick. My dad, who usually goes to the dump on Saturdays, was just looking out the window, seeing if there were cars going by on the road in order for him to decide if he was even going to try driving down the road and on the streets. But you know, it forced us to stay inside and be comfy and really just take the time to be present and with one another, which I loved. And that leads me into signs from our loved ones that they show us when we are thinking about them or talking about them. My mom is Irish. Her side of the family was Irish or is Irish. And my brother was able to go down to Massachusetts to see our aunts and uncle and our cousins on that side of the family. And I would have loved to go, but I was so busy and our plan was to go see my parents. And he was able to spend time with them, and they had all ordered shirts with a wonderful picture of the important women in my mom's side of the family from that Irish ancestry. And this is actually the shirt that he brought back for me because they all had it. And it's just a wonderful visual of the generations of the family history on my mom's side and the important women who were so strong and fearless. And it was just so special that he was able to bring that back for me. But anyway, my gosh, my bangs. Anyway, during the time that he was away, my mom and I were able to just sit and chat and um, really just talk about her mother, which was my nana, and her aunts. They always used to come and visit us when we were children, and they would come during the fall foliage, and we'd go hiking and we'd do special activities. And it was really funny because when we were talking about them, the picture frame that we have on our piano just fell, and it was the exact picture of these ladies on our shirt. And we have three or four pictures on our piano, and they all stayed standing up. But that one picture with the women who we were talking about fell down in the middle of that conversation. And my mom was like, "Oh, that's bizarre." But for me, it was reassurance that our loved ones were there hearing our conversation and probably wanting to say, "We are still with you and we love you." And when things like that happen, objects move or objects fall, and they're specific to the people they have a link and a meaning to the people who you've lost. And when you bring them up in conversation, if they move or they fall, that is a big sign to me that they are trying to show us that they're here and that they love us. And so that was really neat. I loved that when that happened. Another sign that I usually hear about, um, and has happened to me quite a lot, especially in the last couple of weeks when I've been asking for support, um, is having the lights flicker when you're talking about something or someone that has passed and you're just bringing up wonderful memories of them. And so that happens quite a lot, to me, whether I'm at my parents' or if I'm in the grocery store or if I'm at a doctor's appointment or just whenever I'm sharing a story and or just needing support and just guidance. And when the lights flicker or when they like have that buzzing sound that comes with however the lights do that flickering, I always feel a sense of, okay, that's a sign from my loved ones. I mean, I know a lot of people have to make sure that if you're in a stationary if you're in your house and it's old, you should check to make sure the electrical circuits aren't faulty and make sure that everything's up to safety regulations. But if the electricity is being odd around you and you're in more than one space, whether it's at home, at an appointment, or at the grocery store, or multiple other places, and it's still happening, I feel like that's pretty consistent that it's not just electricity being funky. It's definitely a sign from your loved ones. And so I always I always love that aspect whenever I feel like I need support and that I'm just reaching out to them in my mind, and then that happens. It's a big reassurance to me, and it eases my soul and it eases my mind. And I love that. And so I just wanted to share that aspect that I see and that happens to me a lot. Um, Another one was when we were growing up, and we had two dogs that unfortunately have passed on. But when we were growing up, the dogs, whenever I was home alone, I would always get nervous because, well, I don't like being alone very much. I like my solitude, but I like knowing there's people around me. And where my parents live, uh, there's not a lot of neighbors close by, which can be nice. But when I was younger, and even now, when you're alone and something could go wrong, it's nice to have people close at hand. But anyway, when I was younger and I was home alone, and the dogs would go after things or bark, uh, I mean, like dogs do, that was always that was always funny, but I would also get a little nervous when they would bark at nothing. And even though I am spiritual and I would think that it's either our angels or loved ones, it is kind of it is kind of unnerving when they're barking at something that isn't there. But at the same time, dogs and animals and cats have extra senses, so they could be sensing something that human senses don't pick up, whether that's a car driving by or other things that are not spirit related. And so, but it was always fascinating. If I was always more calm if I had been thinking of a loved one and then they had barked, rather than waking up in the middle of the night hearing them bark at something, because that was more alarming for me. But if it happened right when I was about to be thinking of someone, then that always felt good. Another piece of that is of this episode or this video of talking about signs from loved ones that does fill my heart with love and safety and just joy is my daughter has been starting to learn how to wave. And so the last couple of weeks, she's been doing that a lot. And so for her, sometimes I'm playing with her and sitting with her, and then she'll wave to nothing. And I know that she knows how to wave to people. And so for me, that has been making me think, okay, my loved ones, my Nana and Papa, my Nana and Bambi, or people that I've loved, friends and family members who have passed, she could be waving to them. And so it's happened to me quite a lot when I was home with her. But this past weekend, when I went home to celebrate my birthday with my family, it was late at night. We had finished celebrating, and I think my husband and my dad had already went to bed, and I was sleeping on and off on the couch, and my mom was up with my daughter, and I was in and out of sleep, and I turned over on the couch, and she's like, "Hey, Tara, um, you're our baby, my grandbaby, and your daughter just waved to nothing multiple times." And I'm like, oh, could be her guardian angel or our angels or our loved ones. And I don't think my mom was ready to see her wave to things that were not there in our eyes, because I had talked to my mom about her doing that. But when it happens to you in person, it's so much different. And so that's just another big reminder, because animals and babies do have those extra senses that people don't. And when they're noticing things or acting in ways that don't make sense to us, I feel like those are a clear indicator that there is more than meets the eye. And when my baby does that, it does make me feel loving, because she's always so happy and joyful when she's doing it. And so that gives my heart peace of mind. And so these are just some ways that I feel like I get signs from our loved ones who have passed. There's going to be many more that I share in the next video as well. But these were the main ones I wanted to share for this week. And I can't remember if I said it in the beginning of this video, but I feel badly that life got so hectic and I was not able to upload more videos consistently. And I am going to have the goal to do a video every Tuesday and every Friday. And so I will make that happen. And I want to, because I feel like what I talk about in these videos and on this channel is important. And as much as I need to prioritize my health and my well-being as well as my family's, this channel is really important to me, so I need to make time to prioritize getting videos up as well. So I love you all. I hope you take care, and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye.